very well.
You bring up something interesting. I mean, you've been with the Camanche schools, now the superintendent. Advantage, disadvantages?
I think there's a lot of advantages. I came in and knew kind of traditions and the culture that already existed in the district and was able to build upon that right away. It would have, I just envision if it was somebody new, there'd been a lot of learning more than what I had to go through. So I see it as an advantage, as a plus. I also think that one of the big advantages is that the staff and the students already knew who I was prior to me changing roles, and so one of the things I've just really tried to be visible in the school buildings and interacting with kids and interacting with the staff to truly understand what are the challenges and the successes within our district.
Okay, before we get into your two major talking points, was there anything that really kind of opened your eyes when you came on to the job?
I think we were talking before we came on air just about, is there a way to get into a routine? And there's not a way to get into a routine. Every day, every week, there's a new challenge that's presented. And so it just when I feel like I have kind of gotten into a groove or into a routine, a new challenge presents itself, whether it's helping problem solve with a student situation or staffing plan, whatever it might be. There's just always challenges. And so hard to get into a routine, but like the challenge that presents itself every day or every week.
And I imagine one of the challenges, the weather, because you're the one who makes the call, right?
That is true. That is something that's very different. I'd give a huge shout out to the National Weather Service. They're super collaborative in their communication with local superintendents, and they offer 4:30 in the morning Zoom sessions where we can jump on a webinar and get an update from them in real time. And yesterday was a perfect example that we consumed the information, and some of us decided to cancel and some of us decided to go. And sometimes it's like flipping a coin, but felt confident by about 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon that I had made the right decision, that it all worked out okay. But just always in the back of your mind is making sure that students and staff are going to be able to get to school safely, and then when it's dismissal time that we're going to be able to get everyone home safely. One thing that's very different about Camanche, we just don't have a whole lot of rural route driving that we have, and some of our neighbors, they have enormous routes that they drive with their buses, and that's just not the case in Camanche.
Of course, Wednesday, I would imagine that is an early out day, so that probably plays a little bit of a role into your decision as well.
It does, because you're either going to have to move dismissal time up to earlier than the 1:45 that we already had scheduled, or if it's a late start, then we would go to a regular dismissal time of 3:15. And so, thinking about it from a parent's perspective, having two kids in the system, it does challenge the home life when you don't have school, or you have a late start, or you have an early dismissal. So trying to be mindful of that as well.
And I think that would be one of the advantages for you to have a couple of children in the school system.
Yeah, it is. I still get lots of daily updates about what is going on in the middle school specifically, and my daughter will be transitioning to being a high school student next year, so I'll get firsthand information about what's going on in those two buildings. And one of the things I've really tried to do is, because I don't have any experience of being an elementary leader, is I've tried to spend a lot of time over at our elementary school and have really found a liking of being in the preschool classrooms and just interacting with our youngsters as they are entering our system. So find a lot of joy in that.
Again, visiting with Justin Shaffer. Well, some great news. Physical plant and equipment levy passed. Talk about that, Justin.
Yeah, so about 5-6 weeks ago, I called together a Vote Yes team. Give a shout out to a couple people. Kathy Klon and Bryson Peters kind of took it and ran with it and did all of the Facebook messaging behind the scenes. So I was feeding them images of some of the things that you can use to what we would look to be upgrading, and they were doing a great job with the words and the images, and had a great message out on social media. And then also Steve Clements, Mary Griswold, Denise McDonald, Shelby Coit, and Stacy Kincaid played a very active role in that Vote Yes committee. Really, with the voted physical plant and equipment levy, we're looking to continue to have updated technology in our buildings for students and for staff, whether that's Chromebooks, laptops, TV screens, smart boards, all those types of things. Another big one is a transportation fleet. We've got to keep up with the transportation fleet. I've learned in my first 8 months on the job that an average bus lasts about 10 years, and then you keep it in backup for about 4 years, but after about 14 to 15 years, you need to be getting rid of a bus. So we're currently have a bus up for auction right now, just because it's from the early 2000s and we have no purpose for that bus anymore. And then the other part with physical plant and equipment levy is maintenance and facilities, just maintaining things. And there's a price tag that comes with all of those. So one of the things I found out way early in July was that our track is very outdated and had been patched many, many times to the point where we had hard spots and soft spots. And so we're using physical plant and equipment levy funds to replace our track, but that comes at a price tag of $220,000. So not before the track season, but after track season, we will be using funds to replace our track. And then another, just a real life example is door access and being able to scan people in and out and have secure entrances. We'll be upgrading our door access system over the summer, but again, that comes at a price tag of $90,000 to $100,000 to update those types of systems district-wide. So just excited to be able to cast a vision for the next 10 plus years with the community support of this vote that we just had the other day.
And you were telling me that this is something that comes up every 10 years, but you guys got a head start on this.
Yeah, so we decided to go after it 1 year in advance, just in case something didn't go well with the vote. We would have had multiple opportunities to go back out for the vote to pass, but we had great community buy-in and great community support. So this really allows me as the new superintendent to work with my board and to cast a vision for here's what we're going to do with this funding source for the next 11 years, essentially. So it's roughly $500,000 on an annual basis that's brought into the district through this tax levy.
I understand it was 80% approval. You just needed a simple majority, but we were talking the students need a sense of pride, as does the community, about their school system and the actual facilities.
Yeah, we're very fortunate in Camanche. I think there's a long history that even predates my time of being in Camanche, of being pro-public school system and having that support, whether it's the voted PEPL, whether it was the bond referendum, you name the things over the last several decades, Camanche Community School District has always felt that support from our community. And it's important to be able to show those spaces off and to keep them shiny and new and up to date and modern, so that our kids take pride in coming and utilizing those facilities.
And you've had some recent renovations. Tell our listeners about that.
Yeah, so the big projects that we just completed and we're officially done with that construction project was secure entrances at our high school and elementary school. The middle school already had a secure entrance. And then the big three would be doubled the size of our theater, so we can now seat over 500 people in our theater, and we're very proud of that space. We actually just had a middle school play over this last weekend, which was very well attended and lots of positive feedback about the space. And then a new auxiliary gym. We're always in need of space for practices or for youth teams to utilize, or even for our middle school, high school programs to have additional space. And then probably the most pride in our community right now is our new fitness center. So our weight room is being used nonstop by our students. We have kids using it in the morning before school, then all day during the school day during our PE classes, and then you'll catch people in there after school as well. So really taking advantage of that space. And
I understand you and Clinton got together with that new theater of yours. Clinton's still waiting for theirs to open up, so you helped them out.
We did a joint program, or joint performance in the fall, and again, lots of positive feedback that Wes Golden heard as Clinton superintendent, and same thing for me. So I think Wes and I are working really hard to show that Clinton and Camanche can work together for the best of our students.
Well, that is great, because Clinton and Camanche used to be together
right.
a long time ago, about 60 years ago. Before we take a break for the weather, you mentioned Wes Golden. We had Andrew Keita in not too long ago. You got a fairway is going to be opening up right across from the high school in about a couple of years.
Yeah.
How do you get together with Wes? Do you get together with Andrew?
Yeah, for sure. Wes and I, we meet pretty regularly, just learning as superintendents, especially being new, and wanting what's best for the Clinton County area. And then Andrew and I have had some conversations. We did speak about the Fairway Project. I'm supportive of the Fairway Project. I think it's what's best for our community. I also think that it's a great thing for our high school students to be able to tap into some work experience over at Fairway, because they do employ young adults, which is a great thing for our community. And then Andrew and I are also working on some crosswalks, and I'm helping him apply for a grant so that we can get some more signage and visibility at some of our high traffic areas where we're crossing main traffic roads in Camanche.
That's great to hear. Let's take a break for the weather. More with Justin right after this. Our update brought to you by the Clinton Midas.
Calmer skies expected for your Thursday. We'll see lots of sunshine, lighter winds. Temperatures, not all that bad. We're going to reach the low to mid 40s for this afternoon. More clouds coming in tonight, and that will eventually lead to a mix of rain and snow late as temperatures drop to near freezing. With your Storm Track 8 weather impact forecast, I'm meteorologist Andrew Stutzky.
Sunshine, 31 degrees, northwest winds now just under 15 miles per hour. Our update brought to you by Midas, the locally owned and operated Clinton Midas, proud to have served you for 48 years. And they ask, are the potholes getting the best of you and your vehicle? Don't fret. The Clinton Midas to the rescue with alignment and suspension repair. Also be sure to see the Clinton Midas for tires, batteries, brakes, and general maintenance on your vehicle. Come to the Clinton Midas, 1432 Lincoln Way. You can trust the Clinton Midas with the golden guarantee. Well, we got Justin Shaffer, Superintendent of Schools in Camanche, in studio with us. We talked about the positive, the passing of that pebble, but let's talk a little bit about budget reductions. Talk about that.
Yeah, so Camanche, we had to visit the state because we have been overspending, and as we kind of peeled back the layers of everything that's going on, we were submitting some reports, and we've come to the realization that in the last decade, we've lost 150 students in the school district, and a lot of that is just residential students. So our open enrollment numbers have been super consistent, but the number of kids that are living in Camanche just isn't the same as what it was a decade ago. Super proud of the school board and the administrative team, and we worked collaboratively together to come up with a plan to reduce the budget by over $1 million. Right now, our target is $1.2 million. We did offer an incentive, which is a very simple incentive of just if any full-time employee wasn't going to sign their contract, if they notified us by December 15th, we would give them a $5,000 incentive. We had 8 full-time employees take that incentive, and those people are choosing to do a wide variety of different things. I think some family situations have presented themselves, and then some are choosing to retire, but it's not the same as what an early retirement incentive would have been in the past. And so, really my stance has been we are right-sizing the school district. So we are tightening the belt a little bit, becoming a little bit more efficient, but we are going to have the right amount of staff that we need for the student population that we have moving forward.
Now, the reductions, was it primarily with the teachers? Were there reductions done in like janitors, cooks, things along those lines?
Yeah, so we tried to show that it was going to be across all layers of the school district. So we did reduce one janitorial position across the district. We reduced a couple of coaching positions across the district, like assistant coaching types of positions. We are looking into a sharing agreement for our transportation director, so we're actively engaged in some conversations right now about that. So we'll reduce that position completely and look to share it with a neighboring district. And then we also had, I think, 7 teachers that took the incentive, and 6 of those positions we're going to just not refill, and we'll repurpose some of the staff that we have on board. And then there's 1 that we'll end up needing to rehire for.
So when you came on board, did you realize that this was something you were going to have to deal with?
Yeah, I knew that we had been overspending, and I knew that we needed to look at the district budget and the financial situation. That was one of the challenges that I knew walking into the interview process. I'm not sure that I understood the level or the severity of it being over $1 million. When we had our visit back in January with the state, we had a target of $750,000. and now we've increased that. We actually go back next week to show them our finalized plan, and trying to show them fiscal year 26 and beyond. Camanche is going to be in a very healthy financial situation, but ultimately you have to come in and make difficult decisions. Getting back to what we talked about earlier, I think the relationships that I already had with people, that this has gone over as well as it could have. I've been very open and honest with the staff about the decisions that we're needing to make and why we need to make them. And I think overall, the team in Camanche has been super receptive to that and understands the vision of where we're going to go in the future.
You know, sometimes there are hard decisions that need to be made, and it comes to you now to be at the top of the hill.
Yeah, and that's something that I have had plenty of opportunity of being a principal to kind of work through, that the buck kind of stops with you when you're the middle school principal or the high school principal. Now it's all of the district decisions kind of stop with me and start with me. And so very comfortable with that. You got to have thick skin as a leader. One of the things that I'm super proud about with this entire budget situation is every program, whether it's an academic or an athletic program or a course, what we're offering this year, we're going to be able to offer next year. So really, we're right-sizing the district. We're not eliminating programs. We're just going to be efficient with what we have. And if a kid wants to take a certain course, if we offered it this year, we're going to be able to offer it next year. If they want to be in an activity and they were in it this year, they're going to be able to be in it next year. And so we're proud of that work. And I think the leadership team, the board, really started all of our work about what's best for kids, and let's make the decisions on the budget about what's best for kids, and then we'll figure out the trickle-down effect from there.
Here we are in the spring, and we're going to get you back in before the start of another school year. So how do you see maybe that second year on the job being a little bit different from this first year?
Yeah, I think I'll be able to anticipate some of the things that are going to come up. Right now it's, state reports are flying at me that I wasn't used to, or just different expectations with the budget that, as a principal, we're not in the management of the district budget necessarily, but now I am. So I think I'll have a better understanding and be able to manage my time appropriately for that. And then really just getting back to instructional leadership. That's been my recent challenge to the building principals, is how can we be in classrooms and providing feedback to make the educational experience the best for the kids and for our teachers.
Again, certainly do appreciate your time. Before we let you go, any final comments you want to make, Justin?
The big thing that I would say, whether it's the challenge with the budget and the support from the voted people, Camanche has a very bright future. We're setting a vision for what it's going to be over the next 10 years, and appreciate the collaboration with the school board and the district leadership team and the students and the staff in Camanche.
All right, I appreciate it. Justin, thank you so much.
Yep.